How men can build security without losing peace, connection, or intimacy at home. Financial stress quietly affects relationships, confidence, and bedroom health.
We started kind of separating a bit at night.
And you're drifting apart.
Rory was playing PlayStation a lot.
Yeah.
And I was watching Nashville.
Getting rid of the social media and the PlayStation. To be intimate, you have to be around someone. You can't just be on your phone, communicate. It's the most important thing that you just stop talking to each other.
We started stretching, remember? That leads to conversation, chatting, but not about work.
Just be with each other. Intimacy and being in a relationship, just being around your loved one and being present. It doesn't take long, 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Self-regulate your emotions and not fly off the handles and blame your downfalls on your spouse. I have to trust that he's going to do what's best for our family. If I didn't, well, what's happening in my relationship that I don't feel like I can trust my own husband?
That's her love language. When I do domestic stuff, she's really happy and I'll get a better Roxy later.
In this episode, we talk about how financial stability looks very different in today's world. Roxy and Rory McCann break down how men can build security without losing peace, connection, or intimacy at home. They reveal how financial stress quietly affects relationships, confidence, and bedroom health if you're not careful, and how couples can stay united even under these pressures. Roxy, Rory, welcome back.
Hi, James.
Good, thank you. And one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, what does financial stability in 2025 look like? What do you think? How would you what's the concept?
Difficult.
Different for everyone.
Yeah. Financial stability, I think.
So you custom tailor everything you do for every individual, basically?
Yeah, definitely. Look, my recommendation, and look, I'm not a financial planner, but as a broker, I would say having at least 3 months worth of living expenses put away is a must. If you can put 6 months away, that would be great.
In a savings account or a locked away account?
In a savings account or in some kind of liquid asset that you can get out. So, if you lose a job or you have some kind of health issue, that you've got a bit of a buffer there. Unfortunately, I think it's nearly 80% of people live paycheck to paycheck. So that might be
it's a big factor in why relationships break down and divorces happen and what have you. So 3 months, like a security fund where you can get by, which gives you that window of time maybe to find another job or to live okay and still pay the mortgage and that sort of thing. Yeah, okay.
And the other thing would be having a budget, which I know is a dirty word, but it's something that you really should have a look at, because most people, we have hundreds of applications every year and we've got a living expense kind of sheet, and people fill in what they spend, and then we do the bank data, which gets their actual spending.
Is it always very different?
It's so different. Yeah. Look, some people, maybe 10% of people overstate what they're earning, but 90% of people
don't know they're
under.
spending $2,000 on coffees or something.
Yes.
That's a big one. Yeah. People don't realize the Uber Eats, the getting lunch out and everything else, one person I recently did, they're $500 for, extra eating. It was $2,000. So that's $1,500. And they're like, oh, I don't know. We've now got this new app called WealthX that
I was going to talk about.
Yeah,
this is something that actually organizes all that stuff. I know we're going to get into more detail, but so what it's basically it recognize the activity that people are doing in their financial world, and then saves it on an app. Talk us through that.
Well, it's open banking. So what happens is when a new client comes on for us, we send out an application form, and then part of it is onboarding your bank accounts, which is your open banking. But you actually get an app on your phone that shows you your banking. So it's like your ING or Commonwealth Bank app, but you can add all your bank accounts. So if you got ANZ, ING, and ANZ, you can put them all in there, and it will break down what your living expenses are in each category.
Wow, this is really cutting edge stuff.
It is, yeah, it's really great.
It's called what?
WealthX.
WealthX, and people can download that off the App Store?
Yeah, that's it. I think we'll put a link in this and they can come through, and
Brilliant.
We're actually going to do a bit of free advice for people if they want to, link it up, and then I can go through and...
Sounds great. We'll provide the link for that. Great.
Yeah, that's it. So
we actually used it ourselves and discovered that we were paying $115 a month for a car that we didn't own anymore in insurance.
Amazing.
But because it had broken it down in a way that was really easy for us to ascertain that it wasn't actually there anymore. And then I called NRMA and they backdated me and refunded me $1,000.
$800, $900. Yeah, so it's good.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So we'll get into more detail about it. So
Having a
that's an app
budget,
which, so
yeah.
having a budget, and that does all that for you.
Exactly, yeah. So having a budget and making sure that you have, like, so many people go, oh, if they're a business owner, this is the biggest thing. Oh, I don't know my numbers. So if you don't know how much a lot of people just talk about their revenue or their gross profit, or not gross profit, their gross revenue. That's not really anything, because if you spend, if you turn over 150 grand or 500,000, but you spend 450,000 of that, or 550, right? Which is a big thing now.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even have a tax account. So like every time something comes into our business, we've got two accounts. There's the main transaction account and then a tax/savings account. So every time any money comes in, pretty much 25% of it I just put straight away into the tax account. So with a person,
that's a good idea.
Yeah,
straight away.
It just means that's it. There's a book that I read a long time ago, The Richest Man in Babylon, and it's
all about buckets.
It is, yeah. So again, having the budget, knowing what you're spending, having, one of the other big things that we do is have in our personal life, we've got our main transaction account. So that's all our income goes in there. All the bills and everything goes out of there. And that's where you want to have your, 3-month buffer. So
in that account?
In your everyday transaction account.
So, okay.
And then we've got another account under that, which is our groceries and spending account. So
Well, you pay money per month into that?
Well, each week. So we pay ourselves weekly. If you can get paid weekly, it's much better because it's easier to budget and you can actually do it. Monthly is fine too, but you have to be much more better. Like you have to be better at budgeting.
Self-control as well.
More self-control. So what we actually do is we just transfer, it used to be 350, but I think it's now 550. And that's just for buying groceries, shopping and everything else. And I don't care if my card declines because it means I've spent over $500.
And that's your budget.
And it's your thing,
That's
I used to say to people, get cash out. If you want to start a budget, get out what you want to spend in a week and actually seeing the money in your pocket. And when you have to go pay for something and it's $25 and you've only got 6 or, $10, $50 notes, and then you're like, oh, I got to spend a whole $50.
Maybe I shouldn't have done that Uber or something. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, or
that's great. But then you live within your means.
You live within your means.
Considering financial pressure is one of the main contributing factors for breakdown in relationships. This is really good advice, I'm sure, for some of you at home that perhaps struggling with a bit of financial pressure. Exactly how to organise your finances. Brilliant. So buckets,
buckets. Other than that, it's really understanding, all the other little things that you don't think about. Like, and again, it does come down to budgeting, but a lot of people forget this from their budget. Holidays, Roxy and I, we've been pretty lucky over the last, 10 years not to have much financial pressure, but we've taken on a lot of new investments and things. So we're even starting to, curb our personal spending, and we're putting away for holidays. We're putting away for our rates. We're setting up accounts because you still got to have.
It's planning, isn't it?
A bit of fun, right? Like, you can't do. I'd say we didn't have any holidays for about 2 years.
Yeah.
You'll do whatever it takes, won't you?
Well, and now we just put money aside each month, and book a holiday and pay it off before you go on it. A lot of people just get like. A big thing is credit cards, right? So everyone has a credit card.
Should they have them? Should they not have them? What's your view on credit cards?
Credit cards, I think a lot of people have way too much of a limit on their credit cards. So
should they lower their limit?
I think lowering the limits, if you can't pay your credit card off each month, then you shouldn't really have it. If you want to go on a holiday, right? So if you want to put like a $15,000, holiday on a credit card and pay that off over a year, you're silly, because unless it's a really low interest rate credit card, which are harder to come by, it's better off to have a personal loan, for 15 grand, you spread it over 2 years or hopefully a year if you can pay it off quicker, because you're actually going to pay principal and interest. Most people just pay the minimum repayment. So if you pay the minimum repayment, you probably see, I bet no one reads
forever
the
an
bottom
ever payment.
But you read the little line, they've had to put it on there, and it says like even if you've got a couple of grand, it can be like 20, 30 grand over the next 30 years to pay off that credit card.
And some people do it that way, don't they?
And most credit cards are at like 20% interest. So so making sure like getting the right like getting the right finance solution for the right thing. So yeah, credit cards. We don't actually have a credit card in our personal name. Sorry.
You're better off to get a personal loan in
We
with
do
a
have
low
one.
interest
We've
rate.
got one credit card,
Yeah.
which is the interest-free credit cards
For like furniture purchases.
for furniture and stuff. The crux of that is
interest-free
though,
credit card.
it's an interest.
What's
It's
the name of that one?
interest-free. It's the Latitude or the
yeah.
Go Money one, which I think they're all kind of combined
Before
now.
pay, maybe.
Before pay. One thing to note is it says it's interest-free, but it's actually does cost you money. And if you work it out, depending what you buy on there, each transaction normally comes with a fee. So if you buy a $2,000
That's how they lock it in.
item, it might be. I think it's $15 a month or something.
$13.95 a month.
$13 for each one, right?
No, I think that's just the account keeping fee.
Account keeping fee.
But then what you have to do is, say you buy a fridge in 2023.
Yeah.
You got to choose a long enough term, interest-free term, that you'll actually be able to pay it off with the principal that you're paying.
Yeah.
So that doesn't turn into just like a really costly thing.
And just because it's
So if you're going to do
only-
it that way, make sure you're really on point with the payments.
Yeah.
Well, the minimum repayment won't actually pay it off by the time it finishes.
No, so you maybe carve it up yourself with your own
You-
calculation.
we
you
do
have
our
to.
own
But
calculations.
most people
yeah.
won't do that. So I just don't recommend.
So what happens is they get to the end of the 22 months. Most people don't think about it. They might have put 2 or 3 other things on. The other thing too, where they trick you, and again, they might have changed this, but we've learned that if they'll just take off the top, so you actually have to go into the credit card and say, I want the money to go towards that loan.
That item, because that item.
You can tell them to do that.
Yeah.
You can do
Another
that.
great tip, guys.
So like if you've got like a $5,000 item and a $1,000 item and a $3,000 item, you can actually go in and make sure that your money's going towards the one to pay it off
The first
before the
payment
end of the
type thing.
interest-free
Yeah, got
time.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
interesting.
it. So,
Good.
or again, just put extra in. Like you really just want to get rid of it, even though it's interest-free.
Get as
You've
much in
bought
as you
something
can.
that you couldn't afford at the time. Might have been because you needed it because the other thing broke, but most of us do buy a lot of stuff that we don't need.
Interesting, thank you. And Roxy, what would you say is the definition of a stable man in 2025? Or is it different for every man? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I feel like someone who is like emotionally able to support himself first and then the rest of his family. So emotionally available for his needs and his family needs.
That's interesting because, you've got to love yourself to be nice and attractive to other people.
Yeah, and
haven't
like
you?
be able to put yourself first and be able to like self-regulate your emotions and not fly off the handles and blame your downfalls on your spouse. I think that would be my definition of a...
Okay, so somebody that's got some mental strength there and ability to support and look after. What about financial? Should they have? Is there a certain amount of savings that a man needs, or is it obviously the 3 months thing? I think is probably a good factor.
Yeah,
isn't it?
3 months. Yeah, definitely. I think that's such a scale. It really depends on where you're at in your career and how old you are.
Yeah.
Definitely a low debt level, like small debts. Like you wouldn't want to be finding someone with $50,000 worth of credit card debt. It'd be great to have a couple of assets behind you, but really it depends on where they're at and how old they are. Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's a thing too, like psychology-wise, for having that buffer. If you're living month to month, you're always in a bit of that fight and flight. You can't ever really think about scaling or growing if you don't have a bit of
if you're living
money
hand to mouth.
If you're living hand to
Yeah.
mouth, you're always
see people
on
do
edge, right? Like
Yeah.
you're like, okay, so look, I don't condone getting debt for no reason. And, there's the conflict here because I am a broker. But sometimes just getting a bit of a buffer for yourself, like
with a low interest rate.
if you've
or
got a
something.
home loan and you can take out 20 or 30 grand and have it sitting in an offset account, especially if you've got no savings. So it's really hard
So
to
the
start
offset
saving
reduces
money.
your mortgage.
Yeah, so if you were to get enough for that 3-month buffer, and just to make sure that you've always got money there, because people don't realize that pressure that's on you, and it's kind of subconscious in a way of like, that you're going to get paid next week and everything else, but at the same time, when a bill comes in, you get that, oh no, that bill's come in, I've got to like come up with that money now. And business
cause
owners, I'm
arguments,
sure,
can't it?
yeah, exactly, yeah. So I think, business owners would definitely feel that pressure a lot more, especially with taxes these days. I'm actually not too against like the monthly paying or the weekly of paying the they've changed it now for most businesses where you have to pay your BAS each month for your PAYG.
Yeah.
I think that's actually good for businesses because a lot of businesses
Didn't pay it and then
didn't pay it, end up on a payment plan. Then your next one comes, and then it's just kind of that, self-fulfilling prophecy of getting further and further. And then you have profit at the end of the year, but they might have like 5 car loans. A lot of people don't realize that car loans actually come out of your profit. So it's only the interest that's deducted. Yeah, that's it. So if you're making 50 grand profit, but you've got, 5 grand a month in car repayments, that profit's actually not profit. It's going to the car repayments. So that's why at the end of the year, you've got to pay tax on that 50 grand, right? Let's make it 100. So you got to pay an extra 25 grand worth of tax if it's 100,000, but you don't have it because you spent it on the car repayments.
So you just get, you can really get lost in that.
You can really go down, yeah. So again, that's understanding your financials.
So if anyone's got any questions about that, reaching out and getting some advice is a really good idea. Yeah. Great. Okay.
Awesome.
And would you say, a 9 to 5 is enough for a working man these days, or should there be various different income streams, do you think, for our men at home that are watching? Do you think should they be focused in lots of different areas?
Just quickly on the 9 to 5, I really, really think that you can do a full day's work 9 to 5. Yeah. I don't think that overtime is necessary. We have little stints where Rory works till 10 o'clock at night for 3 months, and then he's like, oh, I'm done with that. So I feel like if you can be efficient, then 9 to 5 is definitely enough. With regards to different income streams, you definitely can't have too many, that's for sure. But you want to make sure that you're putting your time into the things that are going to yield you really good results. So you can't have 7 balls up in the air all at one time. So choose a couple of things, stick to them.
Yeah. Okay.
Understanding too what you can do, right? Like there's a lot of people out there that want to hustle and do a lot of different things.
Because they see it on social media.
They see it on social medias, but some people just aren't that way. Right. So I'm not trying to give people an escape of like, oh yeah, that's me. But I think living within your means is probably the bigger thing. So if you're trying to compare yourself to someone that's working twice as much as you, but then they don't have quality of life or a relationship or kids, then it's like, comparison is a thief of all joy, isn't it? Really. So I think, can you do it on a 9 to 5? I've got lots of clients that do it quite well, but you've got to have a really strict budget and definitely live within your means.
Yeah.
If you're trying to keep up with the Joneses and buy the next car, the next iPhone, and it's a very much a consumer world. And again, that social media thing really drives it home. I think a lot of people could just sit back and think about what they have instead of what they don't have. If you've got a wife and you've got beautiful kids,
appreciate, be grateful,
and you've got money. Yeah, gratitude is. If you're feeling anxious, that's a big thing. Is like, there's been times where things have been difficult. Definitely, I'm never going to say we've been perfect all the way through. There's stuff that happens that you can't control. COVID was one of them. Can't control that the RBA put rates up 4%. But you just have to do what you can do. And a big part of my kind of morning ritual is waking up and thinking about the things that I'm grateful for, and it's definitely better when your little daughter comes in and gives you a cuddle. It's like, that's the best thing in the world. Used to be a little jetty.
Definition of success.
It is. That's it. So, and again, enjoying those moments. But I think some people wake up and they kind of just feel straight away anxious, and then they're straight away on the defense, and they might be rude to their wife or yell at their kids. Not going to say that I don't get annoyed here and there, because kids are very frustrating. But at the same time, just knowing what works for you as well. And again, too, for me, Roxy realizes in the morning, I just want to go. So like, if I have to hang around,
you're a morning guy, aren't you?
It's I go to the gym in the morning at 7 a.m. I leave home at 4.
As quick as he can.
Yeah, I'm
He's out the door.
Really?
And I spend time. I have an hour. I wake up at kind of 6 o'clock, and between 6 and 6:45, I go and annoy her. I cuddle the kids, and have a coffee if I have time. Go down to the beach. And, 45 minutes is a long time. You can get a lot done in 45 minutes if you just get out of bed.
So the exercise in the morning, going for a walk or something like that is,
massively,
and I'm a big believer of that as well. And I find that, you can really figure out the problems for the day. They just sort of come to you. Whereas if you don't do that bit of, heavy breathing and exercise, you're just trapped in that unsure world, aren't you? It's
100%.
amazing, isn't it, what exercise will do? So great tip is for guys to definitely get a bit of exercise in if they can.
Yeah.
But it's interesting when you say, you made mistakes along the way, which is great.
Yeah.
And it's not great, but it's like we all make mistakes. Is there a mistake perhaps that you made along the way that really is relevant to you and you think, you share that with us and perhaps what you learned from it?
Yeah, I think, I'm always ambitious to grow. So I think just knowing where you are and again, doing budgets, which we did do, but making sure you hire the right people is a big thing. So
how do you get that right?
Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
James, do you know how?
Well, it's
You get-
interesting because
it's
people
a
can really
tough
tell a
one.
good story.
They can,
can't they?
yeah.
And it's and often people that perhaps sit there, without telling
There's
a
some
good story
people
can
that
be
can
fantastic.
really interview
So-
well,
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
they? Yeah. So one thing that we've learned recently is make sure you have multiple interviews. Like there's a reason why,
How
the
many?
big companies.
3 at least.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I'd say 3. And
Is the first
also-
one a longer one?
I think start with a phone call.
Right.
Like, let's take away that ability to capture someone with your energy and just ask some basic questions and see where they're at. And then have them come in, meet them in person. And then that first meeting is always a bit like, oh, do we like each other? We're not sure.
Yeah.
Then the third one, you can really drill down, spend like a good hour together, walk around your office together, ask questions about their personal lives, their families, their kids, see if they have similar values, like spend as much time with them as you possibly can.
Like it's tough
So
because
it's one of the mistakes you've hired the wrong people. Is that what might have happened? in the
yeah, like
past?
sometimes, you're in a position, especially during COVID, like there just wasn't enough people around. So you just wanted to get someone bums in seats and make it go through. And we've had I'm not saying any of our staff that we've had have been bad. It's just maybe not the right person for us in that time. Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know what
And
I
going
mean?
sort
Like
of 3 months of that, it's expensive
Yeah.
for any business
Oh,
to
yeah.
carry some of the 3 months, so you don't get the right person, isn't
the
it?
training, like especially, within finance, we've got really tight processes. So our process is like client comes on, every single step is written down. We've got process manuals. So we've got the whole thing mapped out from start to finish for every single client. It's quite a daunting list for someone that doesn't know finance, and then teaching someone that. And then like there might be an item like do a valuation, but there's like, 10 different ways to do valuation. Some banks have their own processes. So again, having someone that has a bit of understanding about what they're going into. I'm not against hiring someone that's not from the industry, but just knowing what to pay them when they're starting and if they want to get into finance. Also too with finance broking, once a broker becomes, self-efficient and understands it, there is a big thing where people come and work for a brokerage and then leave a couple of years later.
Mm-hmm.
So that really hurts the brokerage that starts you off because normally they'll come in, you lose a lot of time training someone up. And I'm sure you've done this a few times with sales staff and things, but it's like you train someone up, you put in a lot of effort.
Oh.
You get to that point where they're finally kind of trying, make you money. Because at the end of the day, we're not here as a charity. We're a business and you've got to make money to, pay the other people that work for you. Because some people just, are hard cost to a business. You've got your family and things. But it's kind of a thing in our industry. But that's where we're taking our business now is actually trying to find people that are one-man band brokers that
Yeah, so this is
don't
the
have the
different kind of model.
processes.
See, this is how
Yeah,
you're
correct.
working on the business, scaling it.
Exactly.
So getting more of you, really,
Yeah. So
under your umbrella,
it-
under your
people-
license. Is that right?
brokers come in, we've got an ACL license, so it means we can do kind of every type of finance where
Right.
if you work for, well, not work for, but if you're part of an aggregator, you're a credit rep and you have to do what that aggregator says. With us, you still have to abide by the rules, obviously, but at the same time, you can do private funding deals, you can do commercial loans, you can do loans with banks that might not be on panel because you can get directly accredited. So what we've built is, and that's what we've been working on for the last 2 years, is building out a process where we can bring brokers on. We take a small clip of their commissions but give them all the back end
Give them all the
systems,
support and everything.
all the
really.
support. You know, we've
Plus they got
gone-
your buying power because they're coming under your umbrella. So they get the
Exactly.
preferential rates. What a great model that is.
Exactly, yeah. So it's like, and I could see in the future too, look, everything's changing. There's this big move towards digitization of everything, IDs,
noticed.
yeah, bank accounts, everything else. So I can see it's going to become more of a volume thing. And I think where I can see brokers of the future is you're going to be really like a network in your community, and people are going to come to you to ask you questions, but you're not going to have to do all the manual stuff. Like we're working on some AI in our business, which I think in the next kind of 2 to 3 months, we'll do 20 to 30% of all our back end. But we've got a plan of getting it to nearly like 80% of all of our jobs, because AI is one of those things where you can teach it like an employee, but it's got infinite intelligence in a way. So you can sit there, you can build an agent, and we've built like an overall agent. So it's like everything that I've learned, I've taught one agent, and now it's going to build multiple agents.
Brilliant.
So they
it
all
carries
talk
on
to
your
each
whole,
other.
your
Yeah,
whole
instead of
culture.
just doing like one agent here, one agent there, one there, you know, one might be doing emails, but we've built one where it will read the emails and then it will talk to the other agent. So if an email comes in to do a valuation, not there yet, but it will go, okay, valuation, which is the best valuation we should do? Okay, do this one, do this
Without
one.
a big salary sitting there.
Exactly. And then it'll come back and ask again, and it will go off and ask for extra information and things like that all by
Brilliant.
itself, right? There'll be touch points, and we'll be teaching it over the next 6 months, but yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. But even as we stand now, you know, if you don't have any processes as a broker, and you don't have softwares like WealthX, these are all cost money too. Like our base, like just to run our business, just for softwares and things, probably cost $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
So your average broker can't afford to spend that much each
yeah.
month, because it's cheaper for them to do it manually.
Yeah.
But then you're stuck in that perpetual
Paperwork
cycle, you know, like you've seen it. You get a loan, you do a loan, but then you don't have another loan. So a lot of brokers have this really lumpy income. We've got it kind of out, and we kind of have higher.
So they
months.
can grow their own business within your business, basically.
That's the whole thing. It's like you still own your own business. You've got your own books and everything else. You just plug into our systems and everything. So it's kind of like an aggregator, but it's that next level. It's all the bits and pieces. We do marketing, we do advertising.
All for them.
All for them. So
It's so exciting.
help them get it done.
Great.
Yeah, it's excellent.
So, Roxy, money is, the number one reason why couples fight. What do you do? Because you're a husband and wife team, which is brilliant. When you got a husband and wife, they're perhaps with different risk attitudes. How do you kind
We
of
couldn't
handle?
be any different.
We are
Yeah.
so different.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
that's
and
interesting.
funnily enough, we work.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Yin and yang.
The different risk appetites.
Yeah, so
what
what do we
would
do?
you do? Yeah, with a couple that you might be consulting, they've got different risk appetites. You can see that they're uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
How do you kind of navigate through something like that?
Well, I mean, like, it'd be like giving myself advice, but
Because you have a different
I'm
attitude
conservative.
to-
Like most women, I value security. I like staying home. I like doing a lot of the similar things. I don't understand as well a lot of the investments that Rory has invested in, so I trust in him. And he's made some mistakes along the way, and that's been fine. He hasn't been in trouble for those mistakes, because if he doesn't try, then he'll never learn.
Yeah.
So you can't, if you've got a,
That's nice.
if you've
So
got a,
understanding.
yeah, a husband and wife team, and the man decides that he wants to have a higher risk appetite, it's sometimes going to pay off, and it's sometimes not going to pay off. So if myself as a non-risky lady, I have to trust that he's going to do what's best for our family. If I didn't, then I need to think about, well, what's happening in my relationship that I don't feel like I can trust my own husband with my emotional well-being, but also my wealth and the growth in our family. So really
So
understand.
do you sort of meet somewhere in the middle? Is that where?
No, we don't actually meet somewhere in the middle. Rory just says, I'm doing this. And I go, no, you're not. And then we kind of just, in a controlled way, we kind of fight it out. He says, I'm doing it because of all these reasons. And I say, but we don't have this, and I want this, and I don't want that because I want to do this with this investment. And then he says, no, Roxy. And he shows me, in a very
I think that's a
clear,
big part of it.
Yeah.
So your
show
advice
me-
to couples that perhaps go through that and they argue a little bit over that is to show, demonstrate.
Yeah.
This is, and it's good too, the pushback, if it wasn't for Roxy pushing back all the time, she does.
All
And
the time.
again, it's
Sorry.
it's one of those things where sometimes when doing research is really important. Like I see it so often. People come to me and they're like, I want to do this idea or that idea. And it's like, okay, cool. Have you researched it? Like, have you looked it up? Have you seen, like, you haven't just seen this on Instagram or something. Have you actually looked into it yourself? Like now we've got AI like Grok and ChatGPT. It's so much easier to do it now. You can just search the idea and ask it pros and cons. So yeah, like I'll come to Roxy with an idea or something that I want to do. But I'm going to reverse a little bit. It's always got to be within your realm. I think trying to take on something that you haven't learned, or again,
Well, you're at your own depth. Or something
yeah,
like
if
that.
you're out of your depth and you're just trusting in someone else, there is no quick wins. Like I've got a tattoo on my arm and it's a big tree. It's not the best tattoo in the world, but for me, it's got meaning. And it's like nothing great was built in a day. Like that's that whole saying in Rome. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
You have to build a foundation in that. So let's just say you want to get into crypto. You don't just go out and listen to some guy on one channel and go buy that crypto. You go and
Lots
you
of people
research.
do.
They do so
they
often,
lose money,
you know,
yeah.
because people are really good sales. So whatever you go into, you always want to do your research. Recently, I made quite a big investment and I went and saw 9 people that knew way more about it than I did. And I found out all the facts, and some of them were not good and some of them were great.
You had them all.
But I had that information, so I was fully aware. But a lot of people just go out and, you know, I see it too often, and I'm guilty of it too, where I don't even feel like explaining it because sometimes you don't know what it is you're explaining. So what ends up happening, it's like, hey, Roxy, I want to do this. And you're like, no. And I'm like, yeah, but we've got to do it. And then she might ask a question and I don't know the answer. So you get angry. So you get annoyed. But now we've kind of, you know, the older you get, the more you realize, well, actually, I should know these answers. Because if I don't know these answers, most of the time you get annoyed, not because the person
Bit of a
is saying
defensive
something.
annoyance.
It's defensive
Yeah.
because you actually don't know and you feel a bit like, oh, crap, maybe I should have learnt that first. So
yeah, I think as well as a female, it's okay for you to go and do your own research as well. So if your partner
Yeah,
comes to you and says,
definitely.
I want to put $250,000 in X, Y, Z,
And not in a mean way either.
yeah, you can take on what they say.
More
and
due
then,
diligence for the
yeah,
family.
and
isn't
then
it, really?
Yeah.
when Rory comes to me with investments, I go, okay, great. I usually say no. And then he will put me in touch with the investment and I'll go and do my own research because I can. And then I have a couple of people that I respect in business and have mentored me throughout my life. And I will call them and I will send them over a brief and I'll have a conversation. I'll often chat with my mum just to like really see how I'm feeling and check in with my own
To
self.
process it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll weigh up like, well, is this going to be the end of us? No, it's not going to be the end of us because we've got enough hustle to recover from almost any loss.
Yeah.
So then we just go for it.
Yeah.
If it sits well. And then there are sometimes Rory comes to me with something and it's just a hard no from me. And then he'll push and push and push. And then eventually he goes, it's not fucking worth it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And
sorry.
that is true too. It's one of those things where you don't want to, money's not worth breaking your family. Do you know what I mean? Like even if I know it's a really good investment, and there's been a few that Roxy said no to, and I've had to respect that, you know, it's her money too. She works hard with the family and in our business as well. One thing I will say is that, yeah, when you get advice from people, like what I said is like, I went and saw 9 people that were in that industry. Don't go and ask your mum. Roxy's mum is an accountant, so she's a valid person to go speak to. But yeah, asking friends and family of their opinion on something they don't know anything about,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that can be the worst thing you can do.
Totally makes
that-
sense.
It's like putting a lid on yourself.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
again, a lot of, you know, when I went from being in a really high-paying construction job to going to start finance. My whole family said, "What are you doing? Don't do that." And, now I earn 10 times more than what I ever earned. I ever
But you
could
got
have earned
around
in
people in the
construction.
industry, didn't you? Like if you want to go
I did,
200 miles an hour
yeah.
on a racing track, go to the racing track. Let's get
100%.
around those
So,
people.
I think having a network of people and today it's so easy to do that. There's Facebook groups you can go to. And again, you want to see someone that's actually done it before. You don't want to talk to people that haven't done it before.
And you see a lot
got
of that on
an
social
opinion.
media, don't
Yeah.
you?
Oh my
So-called
God.
experts with a fake story.
Yeah, it's like show me your house, show me your bank account. You speak to so many different people, and I'm not about talking badly about other people in industry stuff, but you want to get advice from someone that's done it, right?
Yes.
That's been through it. Because when I did my self-managed super fund loan, I'd done them before for clients, and we were really, I knew about it, and we did them and got it. But I learned so much when I did it myself.
Even you two do this a lot with each other. You'll run big ideas past each other because you've both been in business for years on years.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's a really good relationship to have. A close friend, but someone who also has been in business and successful for a long time. That's a really good person to run something
Definitely
past.
a great tip, for anybody out there that's in the same situation. So when you're do you do a lot of consultations with couples that are under a lot of financial pressure, that maybe are on the brink of divorce or separation, and you must see a lot of different situations.
You can't be any more right with the financial pressure thing. Debt is something that you've got to realize what happens in what inflation actually does to money. And so this is going off on topic.
No, talk about it.
It's to explain what happens. So if you've got a property and it's worth $1 million and you got a loan for $500,000, and that loan, even if you had an interest only, it's not going to change. The repayments might change a little bit. However, over the last 5 years, money supply has doubled. So there was in Australia, and again, these aren't exact numbers. Let's just say there was $2.3 trillion in cash circulating in the economy. Now there's 4.6. So when you talk about inflation, assets have gotten more expensive, right? But the value of each dollar you have has actually shrunk. So I always use the Toyota Hilux because everyone knows kind of Hiluxes. Again, 5 years ago, they were worth about 50 grand, right? Brand new 50 grand, maybe 60 for the top line. That same Toyota Hilux, because they don't really change year on year Hiluxes, even though, they might change the bells and whistles.
They put Top Gear always featuring them.
That's it. But they're now start at 75 grand for the base model, up to 90 to 110,000. So did they get more expensive because there's more things in them? Yeah, but not double the price, right? So that's inflation in a nutshell, and the value of money. So if you had 50 grand in the bank, you could have bought a Toyota Hilux 5 years ago. But moving forward now, if you save that 50 grand, that 50 grand now can't buy you it. And that's the inflation. That's what we talk about. So
it's like quicksand for some people.
It is, yeah. A lot of people want to, again, you want to have that cash flow in there, the savings. And again, on top of that, wages have grown over time, not as much as inflation's gone up. And that's where we're having this issue now with living and costs. But I think you're on path with this too, James. You've got it. The mindset is the big part of it. It's you can be pessimistic and say that, oh, this has happened, I've got no money. Or you can go out there and get it. So, and that's an abundance mindset. Because there's more money, as I said before, the money supply has doubled. There's more money than there ever has been. There's more money to be
made.
There has, exactly. So what I'm trying to get to is if you have a loan for $1 million, your assets are going to go up in value and your loans don't change.
So
you borrowed the money 5 years ago and, the assets keep going. Sorry, I
see what you mean, yeah.
So, I don't know. We went maybe a bit off topic there.
No,
I think they're important things to understand because, it's why people feel so much pressure at the moment,
I think you've explained it
brilliantly.
Yeah. So let's say if resentment has really built up, because you meet a lot of, obviously, couples that are refinancing and all that.
Yeah.
If resentment has sort of built up in a relationship because of money issues, Can it be repaired? Do you ever see couples go through that and get it repaired, and then all of a sudden they're in a great space the next time you see them with a financial checkup a year later? Or tell us about some of the success stories.
Yeah, so, and that whole spiel was because of this. So a lot of women they like Roxy, want the security, and they don't actually want to get more debt because more debt's bad, right?
But that's what they think.
That's what they think.
Yeah.
And why I explained that was because, like, again, getting debt is not good if it's not good debt. However, if you're struggling day to day and you don't have a buffer and you don't have a budget and everything else, then getting that extra 20 or 30 grand to give yourself a little bit of room to move
with a little low payment, low interest or something.
Mentally, it sets you up. And then if you've got equity and you can buy an investment property or something else, some people, it really changes their relationships because they might be arguing about something and neither of them are right financially. And when they come and they speak and then you lay it all out and then you lay it out for both of them and they understand. And, a year later,
They've got a proper line in the sand to both come to.
Yeah, because a lot of men might want to keep growing and do this, but the woman might want a kitchen, like they want to get a nice kitchen or a new car or something done to the house to make it nicer, to make it more bearable. I know Rox and I, we've had our differences, definitely.
I've had some resentment. We've had to just draw a line in the sand.
We bought a house that we thought we were going to renovate, and I promised it 2 years it will be renovated. And
it's still not.
Even professionals get caught off guard with rising interest rates and the cost of construction and everything else. So recently we renovated the kitchen, which was absolutely torture because living in a little beach shack and renovating was difficult. But now we can see the silver lining, right? It's all coming together.
Lovely beach in Terrigal though, isn't it?
It is beautiful. It is, yeah. So, can you fix it? Yeah. Rox has probably seen a lot of it too, because even personal loans, people come to you stressed about things and you sort out consolidating.
Do you find the women level with you a little bit and sort of
they do. I think a lot of people just want to talk it through. Oh, my husband did this, and have a bit of a whinge, and then that can often just be enough.
Yeah.
And same thing, if your husband's made a bad decision, and unfortunately, in my experience, it usually is the husband that's made a bad financial decision because usually it's on their plate as well. So of course it's going to be them. You can't keep punishing them forever. They made a bad decision. They probably feel terrible about it. Let it go. Get angry, say you're an idiot, and then be like, all right, let's move on. What's the point in holding on to that?
Yeah.
You're only hurting yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know what
we hear it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we get thousands of, hundreds of men we talk to a month, thousands a year at the men's health clinic in all our countries. And the main factors that we talk to of couples, going through rocky patches is financial pressure, really. That's what we see. So, everything the advice you're giving us today is brilliant. I'm sure the audience are going to be loving it and writing it all down, hopefully. So what helped you and Rox sort of build that teamwork together? Because working together, living together, married, what sort of what tips would you give those at home?
We've definitely had some times when we thought this wasn't going to be for us. Maybe we can't work together anymore.
How did you get through that?
That was in the business, yeah. There's one thing that Rox and I have both always done is communicate. It's the most important thing, because what you see so much, and we fall into this too sometimes. It's you get so caught up in your own life, in your own way, that you just stop talking to each other. And
communication is
a big thing. For me, I don't want to stop until it's resolved. But Roxy's communication style is that she doesn't want to talk about it and let it be. So it's really difficult for us too. And it's
Rory just follows me around. Hey, can we resolve? And I'm go away.
Yeah, I want the instant gratification. My ADD is I want the dopamine of this gone. But I've learned over time now, I've got to give her space or make her laugh. Yeah. One of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
space is better than laughing.
I don't know. Laughing gets it done quicker. But it's hard. And breaking the pattern too. If you've got a lot of financial pressure and, kids are really difficult too. We haven't gotten to that part yet, but, kids have their own mental things. They have their own kind of cycles and things too. And it just,
Well, this is why when
adds a
Roxy said
whole
she
other
finishes
thing.
at 2:50, you know, she's
Yeah,
super organised.
that's
Because I was
it.
going to say, you know, have you ever thought maybe we should be a single income family, or do you know what I mean? If you, but it sounds to me like you've gone through that, and that's why you're so precise with your day, and
Yeah.
because you got to be there for the kids, haven't you?
If I thought that my parenting was slipping due to my professional career, then yes. However, I seem to be able to manage it all. And I'm of the opinion that the most efficient person in the world is a self-employed mother. So I feel right now that I'm doing a great job in my career and a decent job with my kids. I could do better, but they are so difficult. Like kids is like really difficult for me. Business, easy. Running the business with Rory, I'm like, that's fine. Every task is just something that I can get done. The kids, it's always like pushing and pulling me. So if I was struggling in either or, then maybe we would decide to become a single income family. But for now, it's working, and maybe that won't be the case in the future. But
4 and 6, aren't they?
Yeah.
4 and 6.
4 and 7.
4 and 7.
And I think also too, it's actually not an option for a lot of people, even for us too. Like, you know, could we become single income family? Yes, we could, but we'd have to like really drastically change our lives. So like, I think a lot of people are trapped now in both working, you know, who's raising the kids at the moment, probably diving into a whole nother kettle of fish. But like, I think Rox, you'd admit like that it's hard, right? Like you want to be at work,
yeah,
but at the same time, you feel terribly ill sometimes that you can't do more for the kids. And I think that that's a big thing that men don't see too often. Because like for me, when I leave the house, not that I don't love them, but I don't think about the family
He's like,
until I see a
"Bye."
picture or until it's on my way home.
You're out.
My head just goes boom straight into like
Yeah.
hunter-gatherer. I want to go and get this stuff done. Where Roxy, you know, is
I'm physically
like,
tethered to
oh,
them.
I got to think about this and the kids and that. And like, I'm so lucky that I don't have to think about that because one, I don't have that caring for the details of how schools are dealing with intricate things.
Yeah, my wife, she does that.
Where Roxy does it.
I have a little on CC.
And I'm like, oh, what are you doing that for? And then eventually I'm like, oh, actually, now that makes proper sense. But at the same time, I would never have thought it. Like we're built
Well
different,
done, Roxy.
right? So I must say, Rox has done such a great job. Like, you know, we've been blessed to have a really successful business. But that's meant like Roxy, after like having a baby, has been on her laptop. And I'm like,
Same day.
don't do it. And she's like, I want to.
Same day.
I gotta do it. Like, it's
But I
like,
also, you know,
that's not healthy, by the way. Like, it's
But I
that's
do.
the way
we don't
Roxy is.
promote that.
Knowing you a
that's not
long
what we
time, you know,
promote.
you do make time for yourselves. You know, so how do you keep it warm? How do you keep it lovey-dovey? You know, in a marriage, you've been together for married 14 years, probably dating 15 years.
Yeah.
It changes all the time. Like we had this phase where we would go on a date night.
Yeah,
and have
much
a couple,
harder now.
have a
And I know
couple
he
of-
chases you around the house.
He
all
always
day.
chases me around the house. And we would like have a couple of drinks and like go and blow off some steam and have a really nice dinner. And then we
So
went
you used to
through-
do date nights.
We used to do date nights.
COVID changed all that, and
then-
moving away and kids and everything too.
Yeah,
so.
and
It was
then
a date Uber, wasn't it?
Yeah. Then we started like some hotel stays. We'd go down to Sydney, have a break from our kids, like a good 24 hours together, which was beautiful.
Which would obviously, as soon as we left the kids, you'd be like, I miss the kids.
Oh, and I'd
Yeah.
be stressed
Oh
and
my
anxious.
God, yeah.
Then you probably find sort of, you know, segments of that time together where you would, you know, really warm up together. And
Yeah.
Well, I would say too, like the whole phone thing, that was a big thing. Like Rox and I, for probably the last
leaving
two,
phones out of the bedroom.
well, the last
we
2
just don't
years-
use them that much at the home anymore.
Yeah. Well, there was a period like when COVID kind of came and I'd always done stuff that I used to do a lot of gaming and stuff. And, you know, I'd work at night time. We both used to work like when we first started at night because we enjoyed it, you know, like it was a bit of the hustle and we both did it. But then when we had kids, what I found was we started kind of separating a bit at night time and again, like social
Especially
media.
with 2 little kids because you have to jump in bed with them and
Yeah.
all of a sudden you can get into a routine of doing that and
That's
you're
it.
drifting apart, aren't you? You know, it's easily done, isn't
The
it?
drift apart thing, that happened probably 2 years ago. We were pretty bad and we really started drifting. I'd go and do what I did at night. And she'd
What
do
caused that? Was it because you were just not present for each other and you were just in your own worlds doing?
I think that we didn't realize. I was watching. We don't watch TV. We'll get to this.
Yeah.
We don't watch like TV or consume like reels and stuff anymore. Maybe a little bit when we're putting the kids to bed because what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
But we don't really like watch shows per se. So, but back then Rory was playing PlayStation a lot, and he loves that. He's got the ADHD thing happening, and I was watching like I don't even know. Oh, Nashville. That's so good, by the way. Anyway, he doesn't want to watch Nashville with me, and I'm not interested in gaming. So, but that was a way for us to blow off steam. We had at that time a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Hectic.
It was tough. Yeah.
Like we weren't enjoying. Life wasn't smooth sailing.
I guess all we'd do was we'd work together. We'd raise children together, which is stressful when you're working. And we were really busy in that time too, because it was that
easy
that
to
whole
drift
COVID
apart,
thing.
isn't it? So what brought you back together?
We saw this pattern happening, and I'm pretty sure that I kind of picked up on it because our relationship wasn't like great. Like we've always had an outstanding relationship. A lot of people comment us on our relationship. And even through that period, we still had a good relationship. We still showed up for each other, but it was actually getting rid of the social media and the PlayStation. And because I didn't realize how much I was trying to escape from my own life. So I think a lot of men do that too. It's like, it's too hard. I might as well just go and do this other thing. Again, ADD is like kryptonite as well. Like social media is just kryptonite for us. It's like that whole dopamine thing.
Yeah.
So starting to delete the apps, then we started spending time at night together. And as soon as we started to be intimate, you have to be around someone. You can't just be like on your phone and then all of a sudden
you got to be warming each other up,
right?
On the same wavelength. Whereas if one's in one phone, one's in, how would you ever come together?
Exactly. And then you go to bed together, and then something. So what we found was that we
started stretching. Remember?
Yeah, we started stretching.
Because we train a lot at the gym, so we started
stretching together.
Yeah, like laying on the floor. The kids had gone to sleep, and then we'd be like pretty much stretching our hamstrings because we're just so tall, both of us. And then that leads to conversations, and then we just roll around on our living floor, just chatting, but not about work. And then
we just be with each other.
That's one version of us winding down, stretching.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Getting rollers out and these stupid things that we buy to help us stretch.
So couples should do something together, basically.
Yeah, do something together that's not watching a show. But that's also not just sitting and looking in each other's eyes.
Maybe a dance class or something that's...
I don't know. If you could take a walk, that'd be great.
If you didn't have kids, that'd be good. Yeah.
True.
And we, so again, we've always done, so pretty much we did. We both went off our phones. We both realized that was a thing. And then as soon as we started spending, we love each other so much. So as soon as we started spending time with each other, you have fun, you reconnect, and then, intimacy happens. And now we've got our favorite show, Kill Tony.
Oh my God. Highly recommend Kill Tony.
Kill Tony.
It's just like a comedy show, right? So it plays, but we talk because we're laughing about the jokes, and they do this interview section. So it's playing, but it's almost like it's a three-way thing where we're also talking. Also, it's not something that you're glued to.
We pause it all the time.
We pause it, chats, and we have
if you're watching something interactive like that, then everyone's present. It works, doesn't it?
And then you're laughing, and you're laughing at the jokes, and sometimes it's just hilarious. But it comes out in Australia. It comes out on a Tuesday, and we watch I think it's 2 or 3 hours. So we'll watch an hour of it for 2 nights, and then
the other nights we go back to stretching or
stretching, talking,
whatever.
Leaving out the phones. I mean, that's the big one.
Leaving the phones out.
And seeing Australia's banned social media for kids under 16 soon. I think that's such a great thing because it's almost like our kids, like the forgotten society, some of that age group.
Definitely.
My boy's 16 now, but he's had to from an early years. He's been sort of looking at social media and what have you, and it's then hard to focus at school. I mean, and they've actually stopped phones at school as well. Because you imagine turning up at a desk and you've got all your contacts, all your photos, all your CDs, everything. It's all on a phone, isn't it? So
it's
the same way for a marriage, isn't it? It's going to just take away your attention to your partner.
And also too, you get these false narratives of what people's lives are like. You're seeing the AI girls all there, and you're seeing relationships that are kind of they're fake relationships, like Rox and I, We post a little bit, but
I
we're
post
not
the
like
highlights of my life. I don't
influencers,
post when I'm
right?
crying because Rory's brought me another investment
Actually,
that I
you do.
don't
That's
want
right.
to do.
Mine's
I
a bit
do.
of a photo album, not,
Yeah.
not anything else.
So I think the comparison, the huge amount of time that people don't realize they spend on their phones, and then intimacy and being in a relationship is being there. I'm not saying like what Roxy said, we're going to sit there and just stare at each other. But yeah, just being around your loved one is really important, and being present is the main thing. It doesn't take long, 10, 15, 20 minutes of like being there, communicating.
Cooking together.
Yeah, and a lot of the
cooking,
time,
correct,
Rory doesn't do heaps of domestic stuff at home. It's just easier.
But I
if
know
do.
that that's her love language. Like when I do domestic stuff,
I'm like,
then
thank God.
that she's really happy, and I'll get a better Roxy later. Some days I'm just exhausted and I do just sit down, and
But also
and that's
he'll
a choice
sit
I
there
make.
in the kitchen with me,
Yeah.
not on his phone,
Yeah.
just sitting there being while I'm fussing around.
Which is
'cause
nice.
And then I can talk to him if I want to because he's available to me as opposed to him being there doing things. He's just sitting there
tip. That's a
Yeah.
great tip. I'm taking a
open,
lot
waiting
away
for me
from
to
this.
talk. He's not going to ask me questions because he's got 100 things happening in his head. But then I'll be like, no, just nothing. And he's like, then when we can start chatting about menial things that are important to me.
I was going to say that was another big shift is I can take on quite intense information. Like I love information. I love reading news. I love knowing what's happening around the world. I'm quite well versed in a lot of different things. When I'd tell Rox what's happening in like other countries or what's happening in politics
Anxious.
here or things, it make her anxious. So now I just don't talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
And that
Em's
that
the
I
same.
would
She
I would
doesn't
say
really
that
wanna
was
know.
No.
that was a big that social media one
Because you like
fuels
talking
that.
about it, don't you?
Exactly.
You know,
It
Yeah.
makes him excited.
Yeah.
It
It
makes
excites
me
me,
anxious.
and yeah, for me, I can like think about something that's bad happening somewhere or something that might be happening in the future, think about it, talk about it, and then again just completely forget about it. Where Rox would like then start spiraling on like, oh my god, the world's going to end. I'm
Or
like,
trying
"No."
to make a plan. That's
I'm
my
like-
thing. I try and make a plan. Like, what can we do?
Grab
What can
go
we...
bags.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've
I've got
done
a
that.
full
We've
prep.
got the full prep. Yeah, but
But,
like we go through those things. But then like for me, how I live my life is like I'm here today. Like a lot of people live in the future or in the past, but like you only ever have right now. Like an hour from now is not guaranteed, right? Like anything.
And
can
that's all
happen.
about the present thing, isn't
The
it? Because
presence. Yeah, correct.
it's you got to live for the moment and enjoy
Yeah.
and experience and
Exactly.
I've
I think you've mastered that.
Well, I'm not. I'm trying to now. Like enough because I've had to
Yeah.
slow down. You know, I've got big business and all over the world and all that.
yeah,
But I've just learned to sort of when I'm in the shower, just slow down.
yeah,
Enjoy shampooing my hair and putting my conditioner, and just feel the water on your feet.
Yes,
and
correct.
Because before I would have the phone on intercom, and I'm trying to shower as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, how do you have a relationship with someone
You
like that?
can't,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
completely a lot of good
Yeah.
takeaways, I think, from this session.
that's it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Brilliant.
you.
Thanks for
Cheers,
having
James.
us.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Between the Sheets. Thanks for joining us. If you're enjoying this podcast, give it a like and subscribe so we can keep creating content you'll love. If you have questions or want to start your treatment for sexual dysfunctions, reach out to Men's Health Clinic. We offer free online consultation and provide custom treatments. Take care, everyone, and keep the conversation going between the sheets.